and that is to be able to write something that maybe at a time in somebody else's life they need a little help or a little inspiration or something, that they would sit down and listen to something that I wrote, and it would just either make them feel a little better, or they'd be able to go, yeah, somebody else has been there too, and that helps me. Well, all of my songs are written about real people, either me or a friend or something. So,
no, but the people you write those songs for, the people who are going to hear it, any idea what kind of people they are?
They have to be similar to me, I figure. And if I'm writing about something that I've gone through, then certainly they're going through it or will.
Now, what motivated you to join Fleetwood Mac?
Mick asked us.
Yeah.
And the motivation stemmed out of a need to work, and we liked him very much, and we felt that if the relationship could continue to be as good as it was when we first met, that it would have to be a good band. And so we left the decision on whether or not we would join the band until we went out to dinner with them. And there was never a question. Nobody ever said, do you want to join our band? It was just like we had dinner, and when we left, everybody just sort of hugged each other and said, well, rehearsal is next week at 7 o'clock. And it was done.
I'm fine, how are you?
Excellent. I met you 3 years ago when you first played Dallas. Talked to you and Mick at the Fairmont Hotel.
Was I wearing my glasses?
No, you're wearing a nice hat though, if I recall correctly. Can you tell us a little about why you chose to tour again while you're rehearsing for a new album?
Because we love to play. Mostly. We just got itchy. Everybody just wanted to go. So we said, let's go.
You're tired of rehearsing, you mean?
It's not the same. You know, it's not the same to not play for people. You need to do it. I mean, periodically you need to go out and play. It's real important. Otherwise, you forget that there's an audience out there. You just become a recording band.
The Rolling Stones recently did an innovative concert tour where they played some stadiums, some medium-sized halls, and some really small halls. Do you anticipate Fleetwood Mac might ever go back to playing small halls just for the experience of it?
Sure. Fleetwood Mac likes to play anywhere. I mean, it doesn't really matter where we play.
How's the group getting along these days?
Fine. It seems to be the rock in my life.
Seems to be what?
The rock in my life.
You're not caught
I met someone whose name is Jimmy Iovine, who produces Tom Petty. I met them both the same day, and I love Tom Petty's stuff. I'm an avid Tom Petty fan. I'd probably be a Tom Petty groupie if I wasn't in a rock and roll band. I said, well, wow, if he's good enough for Tom Petty, he has to be good enough for me. So it was sort of an unspoken thing from a long time before we ever got around to doing the second month of the year Tusk tour. He said, if you want to do an album, I know that you're really used to being this like the midnight cat queen that comes in whenever you feel like it, and you bring your satchel of all the things you do, your books, and you're all there, and you completely wreck the studio. And he said, this is not how we're going to do this album. In the first place, you've only got 3 months. And in the second place, I don't want to waste my time with, like, you know, a cartoon. And
he was telling you,
yeah,
you want to do this seriously.
He was saying, this is not big rock and roll. This is something you have never done before. You are not a proven solo artist in any way, shape, or form. You have been protected like the little baby egg, you know, for 7 years. This is something that you have to do alone, Stevie. And if you want to do this, then I have to know that you are going to be very, very strong and very disciplined. And if you don't want to do that, if you want to be recording like you've always recorded and take months and months and months, then find somebody else, because I cannot work that way. And nobody had ever looked at me and said, I'm leaving, basically. I don't need to go through this with you. And I mean, I just went, wow, you know, I guess he doesn't think I'm really that big of a deal. He's threatening me to leave, and we haven't even started the album yet. So I really took a couple of deep breaths and said, this is what I wanted my whole life, was to do this album. I wanted to do a few of my songs that I loved for all the people in the world that I love. He gave me the chance, and he was telling me right there that if I didn't want to really, really be a soldier, that he didn't want to do this with me. And I believed him.
Were you scared at that point?
I was absolutely scared to death, because I didn't really know whether or not I would be able to conform to this new disciplinary way of life. If I was going to be a writer, then I was going to write down the truth. And I wasn't going to name names, and I wasn't going to be unkind. But I was going to tell the truth. And I don't have any reason to not, if I'm going to write, and I'm going to make these songs experiences that I know every one of you has had, that when you have that experience and you hear that song, you'll click into it and you'll know exactly what I was talking about. And those are the only people that I care about, the people that understand that, you know. If you read between my lines, no one knows unless you really look. But that's the people I write for, the people that need somebody to write it down, what's happening to all of us.
It's no wonder, I know your fans feel like they know you really well. And the kind of lyrics you write, like the ones about your dad, it's no wonder they feel like that. Yeah.
They do know me pretty well.
Does this record include the material you recorded at church in Dallas?
In church?
I had heard you recorded in a church.
Yeah, oh sure. This is, we went, see, this was one of my bad planning moves. I moved everybody I knew to Dallas to record with really very little preparation. I prepared. I mean, I wrote the songs, I had the songs written, but all the like rock and roll stars arrived unprepared. And Jimmy Iovine, I put him in a very weird position. You know, he had to kind of go in there and say, well, I haven't really heard the songs either, but we're going to play. And so we were there for about a month, and we ended up coming out with about 6 tracks. And so, I mean, we'll actually even probably more than 6, but about 6 that we can go back to.
Coming? It just...
No, because we never, as I said, we never checked.
You had to be aware.
So for all those
after a
weeks
while.
that we were on the road and that Rumors was on the charts, once again,
2.5 years.
nobody got them, you know, we toured for a year, a solid year, and Fleetwood Mac tours for like 8 weeks. Then they take 3.5 weeks off. They tour 8 more weeks. They went to Japan for a year. They went to Australia. I mean, I'm sorry, not Japan for a year. They went to Japan for a month, and then we come to, thank the Lord, Australia for a month. And this is solid. This is no break. And everybody else tours for 3 weeks, and they take 4 weeks off, and it's like, I don't understand this, you know, because I'm from a serious touring band. So we were so busy, Molly, that we didn't really know or really care what the record was doing, because we were walking out, you know, you walk up those stairs every night, and there's, you know, 20,000 people, or 30,000 people, or 50,000 people, or 75,000 people, or 10 people that are there to see you. And it's like, forget it. Everything else doesn't matter, and this is where we most want to be.